Alright, today we're going to do a ADS, aim down sights. A lot of shooters you can like pull the weapon up to your eye to aim better. We're going to do that. Alright, so we got a platform, we got the directional light. Let's drop a player into the scene. Alright, so player. And we need the gun script, so let's go into scripts, objects, weapons, gun. Alright, in the gun script, this is all the different parts that make up the gun itself. The sounds, the reloads, how much damage it does, all that stuff. Well, this offset value right there, that offset value is where it's positioned on the screen. And what we're going to need to do is add variables. Actually, let's go ignore and script offset ADS. Okay, so we've made a value for a variable for the normal offset and then for the ADS offset. And what we'll do real quick is just copy these out and add that. Alright, so now this tag here is what does the values into the bar down here on the editor. And we're going to give it a name, offset ADS, that way we know when we're using that editor down there that the difference between the offset and the offset ADS. Alright, so now that we've added these variables, what we also need to do is come down here right at the start, and we need to say self dot offset nor equals self dot offset just self dot offset. Because what that'll do is once you've set this offset value, it'll store it as a nor. That way we could swap back and forth between NOR and ADS, because what we're going to actually do is change which one of these two is the offset value. And that's all we're going to do in gun. Alright, so then we're going to go into the player script. And this is where we're going to do most of our work. First thing we need to do is we're going to add a line here, script dot ADS mode. We're going to create ADS moding. And we're going to start that as false because we do not want them in ADS mode when we start. Alright, and we're going to roll down here to the start, and we're going to actually, or not start, update world. We're going to roll right down here to update world, this top line right here. Okay, so then we're going to make the if ADS mode equals false, then we want to do stuff. And then also if ADS mode is true, then, oh, spelled true, then end. Okay, so we're going to do stuff in here. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to do the offsets first. Alright, so we're going to come up here in this, there's this method here that adds guns to our inventory. So we're going to want the self weapon offset value, right? Okay, so copy that out and then come back down to update world, self.offset, and then we want to make that equal offset normal when we're not in ADS. And when we are in ADS, we want it to be ADS. Now, here's the thing. It's going to bug me. This weapon index part is wrong. You have to change it because weapon.index actually refers back to the gun and the gun has an index value. That index value tells it what slot in your weapons table that gun fills. But what we actually want it to do is we want it to go to whichever weapon we currently have selected. That's stored in the player in the value of self-current weapon index. That's whatever weapon the player is currently carrying. That weapon's index number. So we're going to come back down here, and we're going to change these weapon indexes over to self-current weapon index. Alright, now, if we leave this alone and just run it now, you won't see anything because we have nothing to flag ADS mode to true. So what we're going to do is come down here right after local fire, and this is what happens when you press the mouse button 1. It tells the gun script to fire. But what we actually want to do is just copy this out. We want to come down here to right below this, and we want to take out the else and make it an end. Let's clean this guy up a little. Alright, now we don't want to say fire is true, we want to say ADS mode is true. Don't forget to say self. And then we want to change the mouse 2 to mouse 1 to mouse 2. That way when they hit the mouse 2 button, the ADS mode is set to true. If you want to just leave it like that, that's fine, but now you also have no way to kick the mode back to false. So what I'm going to do is if ADS mode self, before I keep forgetting that self, let's just copy it. If self ADS mode equals false, then, and you get this, right? And then else ADS mode equals false. End. Now that makes it toggle back and forth. True, false, true, false, true, false, right? Okay. So what we also want to do is we're going to add another line, because just changing the view is kind of cool, but it also doesn't really feel right. What we're going to do is come back up to this add weapon, and this is a sound it plays when you pick up the weapon, that little click click sound. Alright, and then we're going to come back down here to where we were, and right here, whenever we toggle this either direction, I want it to play that sound. That makes it a nice little click 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 sound whenever you toggle it. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to take this self ADS mode, and we're going to find some stuff like, oh hey, when we reload, I don't want to be in ADS mode, so we're going to take us out of ADS mode when you reload. You can also, like, when the shift key is pressed, see if the character's not carrying anything and the shift key's pressed, he sprints because he multiplies his speed, right? So we also want him to drop out of ADS mode. So anywhere you find that you want to make it to where it drops him out of ADS mode, like if he's jumping, I'm going to leave him in ADS mode for jumping. Nah. Let's take him out. You can just drop that line in wherever. Anything you want to happen to knock him out, just drop it in there. And that should be the end of the... That's the easy part, believe it or not. In assets, now what we need to do is actually set our ADS mode, because otherwise all it's going to do, here I'll just show you, makes a sound. I didn't give him a gun yet, so let's give him a gun real quick so you guys can see what's going on. Weapons. Alright. So when he first loads up, everything looks normal. It makes a bunch of sound. Okay. So now let's play with this offset. To play with the offset, you go into your prefab. See prefabs, weapons, and drag the weapon out onto the field. Now, here's the thing. You get all this junk. That doesn't matter. Just select him, go to his script. You now have an offset ADS function. I played around with this for quite a while. Negative 0.06 and 0.9. Those two values will bring the auto pistol into view, like right up in the middle. So what we're going to want to do is, you saw the notice pop up on the screen that we have now broken the prefab. So what we need to do is resave that as a prefab. I'm just going to overwrite the auto pistol. You can rename it, but just make sure you give your player the renamed version, not the original version. The other thing I noticed that we didn't do in there, in that player script, was we did not change the FOV yet. Whenever you aim down the sights in a game, it gets that real tight view and then pops back out. That's easy enough to duplicate. When it's false, you want the self.camera semicolon set FOV and then 70. And then whenever you go into ADS mode as true, you want self.camera set FOV, and let's use 30 just for this. You could play with these numbers, but 70 is the default. It's up here. Like when they start and all this, they make a camera right here. It sets the FOV to 70. So then in our update world, I have it set to 70. You could make a setting to make this FOV like a variable, like just self dot FOV, and then make this self dot FOV, and then like times by 0.5. You could do something like that too, but you would then need to declare all those values. I don't like messing around with it that much, so I'm just going to make them hard values for now. But that's up to you. Everybody's got their own things. Alright, so let's see what we got. Alright. It's not cycling FOV. I did something in the logic switching. Something's wrong here. If the FOV is false, then make it true. If it's true, make it... Play the sound. Something wrong there. How did I do it before? I have this cheat. This is what I did in my test world when it was working the exact way I wanted it. Looks like I placed it a little different. No, it looks like it's in the same spot. Let's do mouse hit. Maybe that's what's going on. It's toggling too far. See, there's mouse down and mouse hit. Mouse down means while it's down. Mouse hit means when it's tapped. Like just when it's released, kind of. See, we're only getting one sound now, but it's not toggling the FOV right. What did I mess up? Oh, there we go. Never forget the difference between a self, a local, and a global. If you don't put that self there, this is registered to be a global value since there is no local value. And global ADS mode is not even a value. It's nothing. Nil. You could make it a global, but that would be like messing with the ATP and all that. There we go. Reload, you pop out. Shoot. Aim when you jump. Aim when you reload. You go to sprint. There you go. Aim down sight mode. Now you got the fun of doing it to all the rest of your weapons. Like if we had the workshop, manage add-ons, say that we had the FPS weapons pack installed. I'll give it a second to install there. What you would do is set this to prefabs, and don't flip out later if you like, oh, I need a script. Why is my scripts folder empty? You can like exit out and they're all there. It's just looking for prefabs. You need to take all these visual weapons and dump them out on the floor, because here, I'll show you. Like, I have the M4 here. See how it doesn't line up and it's shooting from way over top my head? You have to do that where you select the M4 prefab. See VWEP M4? You have to set its auto mode for every single one of these individually and then resave them. If you don't do that, it does what it just did on the screen. I could show you how to fix that real quick, but the first thing I'm going to do, just to make it easier for all this, because you're going to toggle back and forth a whole bunch of times, you take this out and you change it over to add-ons and packs, and give yourself the M4 prefab, and then whenever you start the game, didn't like that. Why is the weapon index import Leadwerks? Huh. I'll have to look into that later. That's kind of weird. We'll just leave them blank and then we'll pick up the VWEP. But you take these numbers, and like it was shooting way over top of my head. So that's your Y, like X, Y, Z. And just look at these. So it's red is X, Y, Z. If you ever forget, right up here, red is X, green is Y, blue is Z. Okay. What you want to do is you're going to bring it, let's just bring it down the amount that they had it there. Let's see what that does. Attempted to register a nil value. Oh. That's happening because I don't have a gun. So what you want to do is put this all inside an if statement. If, let's just do current weapon index. Current weapon index is not nil then. And then we'll bring all this outside of that. Or inside of that, sorry. What that'll do is it'll also disable our ADS mode. Unexpected symbol near. Oh, I never typed in nil. Dirt. Daggone it. Okay, does current weapon index start as 0 or something like that? It's not actually a nil value. Oh, I don't know what the current weapon index starts at. Let's just, well, for right now, let's just throw this. Let's give him a gun. Just always start him with the gun. Auto pistol player. I can work on that later. Alright. So run. I'm just going to run in debug mode because I hit the wrong one. Whatever. Alright. ADS mode works. It's closer. So let's bring our value down even more. So like negative 0.15 or 1.5. Let's see what that does. Now what you always have to do is save this. Save it as a prefab. Let's just go into, actually you have to overwrite it, which is sad, but, and that's the M4 prefab. Oh no, not the pickup, the VWeb, sorry. Alright, that would have been bad. I would have lost that. Alright, run. So then we pick it up. VWeb. That's a little low, it's getting there. So it's not, let's try 1.25. And once again, right click, save as a prefab. Prefab, ADS. Web. Alright, start again. Okay, we also need to bring it out from them a little bit. Let's try negative. Because that's what it worked for the auto pistol. Because right now it's like inside of his chest. Because we only gave it a vertical value. Let's see what, giving it a little bit of horizontal, maybe we can see it. So it does prefab. Okay, run that. I'm so used to saving all the time. And you just got to keep playing around with these numbers. Negative. Let's just do like 1 and see where that goes. Oh! Would have been my auto pistol. Yes, add-ons, weapon pack. So you kind of get the idea of moving all this stuff around and trying to find the right values for each model. If we change it back to the negative 0.06 and the 0.09 that was the auto pistol to bring it in, it's probably not going to be right. I think I did this before and it was like horribly off. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's horribly off. But the nice thing is if we go back to this, because we're setting the weapons together, you could have them completely different and it still works. Anyway, so you get the idea. Spend the time, do your ADS offsets. It's a pain, but what are you going to do? At least it gives you an aim down the sight mode. So, that'll be all.